Welcome back to HockeyCast. Today I want to talk about the Toronto Maple Leafs versus the Boston Bruins. More specifically, I want to pick out some key points from the game the other night, and I want to talk about Brad Marchand. I want to talk about the state of the team, and I want to talk about another segment that I call Corporate Slugs. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So first of all, Brad Marchand. His history of suspensions is, tops in the league right now. He's been suspended 7 times since 2009 for a total of 22 games. And that doesn't include all his fines either. So let's just go over. I want to take a look here for a minute. So Marchand has now been suspended 7 times in his NHL career, which started in 2009. And if you go down here, let's look at the overall suspensions. So on March 17th, 2011, suspended 2 games for elbowing. December 12th, 2011, fined $2,500 for slew foot. So there's a slew foot there. And incidentally, I think there's like 3 slew foots that he got suspended for and or fined for. On January 9th, 2012, suspended 5 games for clipping. January 16th, 2015, suspended 2 games for slew footing. So there is the slew footing suspension after receiving a fine the year prior, or a few years prior. Fined in November of 13th, 2015, $5,000 for roughing. December 30th, 2015, suspended 3 games for clipping again. January 26, 2017, fined $10,000 for tripping. April 6, 2017, suspended 2 games for spearing. And January 25th, 2018, suspended 5 games for elbowing. So Brad's history is pretty bad. He's got a huge rap sheet, but what the NHL considers history is different than what his record indicates. Because if he hasn't done anything, had been suspended for in the past 18 months, the league doesn't look any further. With the exception, there was one time the league took into account his previous history, regardless of the length of time when Marchand got suspended. I'm just not sure which one that was. But it goes to show that Brad does have a history of slew foots, low bridge hits, and just overall those types of plays. Next, I want to take a look at the incident itself. And you can see here, he's skating along, and there. Oh, let's just back that up. So he's skating along, and here, you see that? First of all, Wes McCauley is seeing these players about to engage. Brad looks at Liljegren. Liljegren looks at Brad because they're getting close to the corner. There's a battle for the puck. Obviously, they're going to battle each other for this puck. Liljegren has the inside. So when we let it play, there's the engagement. Brad immediately puts his stick between Liljegren's legs and starts pushing his shoulder onto Liljegren's shoulder. Liljegren is pushing back, but still focused on the puck. Brad is more focused on Liljegren right now. Okay, so now Brad decides he's going to, he's trying to stop, obviously, because they're getting close to the boards. But look at the position of Brad's hands on the stick, and he knows the stick is behind the ankle. You see that right there? And he lifts. See, he lifts it up, and now Liljegren can't. His foot is slipping off the ice, obviously, so he knows he's going down. His foot gets jammed into the boards. He goes down hard, but this isn't the only thing that happens. Watch. He's going down, and his head smashes off the ice. Did you see that? Did you see the bounce? Watch, right here. Did you see that? We'll see another angle of it right here. They're going to get the puck. Marchand skating there. right there. You see, that's when I first started the other video. They're seeing each other. They're engaging. Liljegren's already starting to slow down here because the boards, there's the puck up here. You can't quite see the puck yet. It's out of your frame still. And there. Now you can see the puck right here. And you can see Brad makes the action to put his stick between Liljegren's legs. He could have did what Liljegren did and put his stick across the body like Liljegren is here. Marchand had a choice. Marchand could have put his stick across Liljegren's body, but he chose not to. Instead, he chose to put it between Liljegren's legs. So right here, you see the position. Brad doesn't have dominating position. Liljegren has position according to if they're the closer to the puck. But Brad has leverage. He has leverage right here because now he's stopping. He's behind Liljegren's leg, and he's still got that stick behind his other ankle. So he's just going to pop it up and send Liljegren flying into the boards. See it right there. He lifted up Liljegren's leg so that he couldn't use it to stop. The stick is still there. He's still lifting it up. And watch when he crashes. Boom, his ankle just exploded on the boards. And now watch his head. You see his head go bouncing off the ice like that? Let me just back it up here. Okay? Boom. His head bounced off the ice. That'll be a concussion for sure. See it? Boom. There. And where was Wes McCauley for all this? He's right there. Oh, look. I'm looking right at it, but I'm going to... see? He's still looking right at the battle. He saw the whole thing. His eyes didn't go off it. He's still looking because you see McCauley's body is starting to turn so he can slow down because he doesn't go in the corner any further, obviously, but his head didn't stop looking at the entire incident. When he said he didn't see it, he was lying. See? He's still looking at it, and I'm going to go rewind it back. And now he knows, I better get out of the way. I'm going to rewind that back, and you can watch it again in real time. You can watch McCauley the whole time. Watch. And there he is. He's looking, and nothing to see here, and he's even starting to skate backwards to get out of the way. That is the kind of thing fans are talking about with Wes McCauley. Here's an article that you can look up on Yahoo Sports. Wes McCauley at the center of another Leafs controversy with non-call on Brad Marchand. This time it's with Brad. But it's against the Leafs. And I'm not even going to talk about it any further. It is what it is. One fan base is going to see it one way and another fan base is going to see it another way. That's just how it goes. But there is enough coincidence in Wes McCauley's lack of calls on these types of plays against the Leafs that it makes for controversial conversations. 100%. And there's if you go back and look at all the controversial calls that Wes McCauley's made, either in the regular season or the playoffs, when he's reffing Toronto games, how many coincidences do you need for it to become real, for it to become true? Like, come on. How many series games, how many games have the Leafs won in the playoffs when Wes McCauley has reffed that game? 0. Okay, let's get off the McCauley train here. And let's look at what happened after this happened, after Brad Marchand put Liljegren into the boards. What happened at the bench, you might ask? Well, Let's look at it. There's Reeves, John off, and nobody else is engaged. They're barely looking at him. And yeah, nothing. You see? Nothing. Reeves is the only one talking at him. And that's all he did for the entire game was talk at him. He didn't go out and do anything. And then Marchand engages with Bertuzzi in the corner. And all Bertuzzi can do is laugh. Watch. Brad's probably asking Bertuzzi, what are you doing with these chumps? You're on a team full of chumps that don't do anything. And what can Bertuzzi do but laugh? Because, Brad's right. He is right. And that's where it comes down to, the snot that Treliving was talking about at the beginning of the year. Snot, piss, and vinegar, team toughness, all words that we've heard thrown around as things the Toronto Maple Leafs need, and all far too much to ask for, apparently. And you can read the rest of that article at Leafs Nation. Leafs Nation, or theleafsnation.com. It's exactly what, the majority of the fans are feeling right now. And it's old hat. Nothing has changed. We had Matt Martin for, this particular role. Nothing changed. We had Wayne Simmons. Nothing changed. We had Kyle Clifford. Nothing changed. And now we have Ryan Reeves, and again, nothing changed. Absolutely nothing. So this leads me to the state of the team. Well, quite obviously, there's no bite. There's no bite to the team whatsoever. If you look at all the Stanley Cup winners of the past, they all have the similar trait of work ethic and bite. You pick on one, you pick on us all. They stick together. They don't let you off the hook no matter what team you are, no matter what play or time is left in the game, no matter what the score. They're playing you hard all the time. And the Leafs, outside the top six, they got nothing. They don't have anything. They have disinterested players most nights. And unless they can do some fancy plays to win a game, it's a non-issue. The team is going down a path that is just, it's not a winning strategy by any stretch. And you can't even say, oh, well, it's early because of what I just mentioned. The things I just mentioned with bite and snarl and not mattering who your opponent is, you come out and you play your game anyway, and you put your work boots on and you go to work. It's been described as many different things throughout the years. But the Leafs don't have it. They never have. No matter what team they've put together, they've never had that solid work ethic. And in 93, I argue they might have had glimpses of that. They might have had that on their roster, but they couldn't put it back together the next year and come out and go all the way. So I don't know. Outside the top six, these guys are nothing. So unless the top six show up, you're not winning the game. And against the Bruins, but against all teams, I've noticed this when the Leafs are playing, but it was really prevalent against Boston, especially after Liljegren got hurt. Nobody was finishing their checks. Nobody. They would rather stop up and throw a little stick in the mix as opposed to just plowing through the guy. The puck is there. Finish your check. I don't know how hard that is to understand. Finish your check. When you separate the man from the puck by finishing your check, that's your puck. Finish the damn check. I don't know how many times people, coaches, anybody can say, and you know what, that's a thing. It's the coach that needs to get these players to do those kinds of things. And the captain has to be more vocal. Like, I don't know what it is with the Leafs in the way they pick their captains. Like, JT's been great, like production-wise on the ice and leading the team when they're a little flat and going out there and pushing a little harder. But vocally, I don't know. He's definitely not saying the right words or something in that dressing room, because these guys don't care about each other. They don't care. And like when Marchand addressed the bench after that hit, the bench was dead. They could care less. They just didn't care. You know, to sum this up, there's no compete level through the lineup, which tells me there's no accountability. There's no one to answer to on the team. Now, if you were to look at Boston, who are they accountable to? They're accountable to Brad Marchand. How are they accountable to Brad Marchand? Because he's had the example through his career with Boston. You know, when Chara was there, it was Chara's team, and everybody answered to Chara. You know, and it went through the captaincies like that. It was the captain that pushed the team. Now, how do you think it got like that? Well, it's because of management that the team respond like that the team conduct their business like that, because otherwise they wouldn't be on the team very long, would they? So the last point I want to address here is a thing I've titled corporate slugs. All the corporate slugs that are buying up all the tickets in the lower bowl. And Nick Kyprios brought this up before, prior games, home games. There's no fan participation. There's no cheering. It's dead. The arena's completely dead. When you go to Boston or any other arena that isn't Toronto, they're cheering for their team. And when they do something, they're cheering. When they need a little boost, they're cheering for their team. Not in Toronto. It's freaking dead. And that's got to change. If Toronto expects to go anywhere outside the first round, that's got to change. Big time. Because right now there's no reactions. So no wonder the players don't give a crap, because there's just nothing there for them to care about. Now, maybe if the crowd got behind them and started cheering as loudly and started pushing the team, whether they're behind or they're on top or they make some good plays, maybe they would play harder. I don't know. In the playoff atmosphere, it gets you to play harder when you're playing for your home team and they are boisterous about your play. The only time the crowd gets loud in Toronto is when the boo birds come out, when they're not doing very well. So in that regard, the fans that are at the games have to make it a point that they got to be louder. They got to be more involved in the game as it's progressing. Because until that happens, I'm afraid they ain't going nowhere. And let me know your thoughts below on everything I've talked about tonight. And let me know what you're thinking, and I'll respond in the comments. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you tonight for the next video when Toronto plays in Toronto, I think, against Buffalo. Okay, we'll talk to you later.